Welcome! Do you want to learn English in a fun and easy way? In this video, we teach English using narrated, animated stories. Here is how it works. On the left, watch the beautiful animations. They are designed to help you understand and enjoy the story. On the right, you can read along as you listen to the narrator. When we reach a difficult word, don't worry. A box will appear at the bottom with a simple definition and an example to help you learn. Let's get started.
Every year on April 23rd, something special happens in England. You might see red and white flags in windows. You might see Morris dancers who do Old English dances in town squares. Sometimes, in London, a person dressed as a knight chases another person dressed as a dragon. This day is St. George's Day, England's national day. But it is often a quiet celebration. People do not usually have big parades like in Ireland for St. Patrick's Day or in Scotland for St. Andrew's Day. England's special day is more calm, and it is not even a public holiday. This day holds a paradox. St. George is celebrated as the patron saint of England, but he most likely never came to England. Some people even question if he really lived. His most famous story, where he kills a dragon, is a myth, not a real event. Also, St. George is the patron saint for many other countries, not just England. Yet for over 700 years, this man has been the strongest symbolizers of English national identity. His red cross is on England's flag. Kings used his name as a battle cry in wars. Famous writers like William Shakespeare wrote about him. He is the face of England. This makes it strange that many English people do not know much about him. So, how did a legendary figure, who did not live in England, become so important to the idea of Englishness? This is a big puzzle. April 23rd holds much history, old stories, and meaning for English identity today.
This book will help us understand this mystery and the truth behind the red and white flag. We will explore St. George's origins, how his story changed, and how he is celebrated in England and globally. This is a story about a saint who never visited the country he symbolizes. It is a legend based on myth and a national day that was once as important as Christmas, but is quieter now. This book will show you a story much stranger than you might think. We will learn about the real man, the monster, and how St. George became part of England. Get ready to understand the many layers of St. George's Day and what it means to be English today. 2. The real man. What do we really know about St. George? Not much. Most stories about him are legends, but we can find a few facts. George was born around 280 AD in Cappadocia, modern-day Turkey. He was from a Christian family. Later, he moved to Palestine and joined the Roman army, becoming a guard for Emperor Diocletian. In 303 AD, Emperor Diocletian ordered all Christians to give up their faith for Roman gods. George refused with great defiance. He even tore up the official order, bravely saying he would stay true to his beliefs. George was arrested and tortured, but he never gave up his Christian faith. For this, he became a martyr. His death happened in Lydda, now Israel, on April 23, 303 AD, his holy day.
Even early church leaders like Pope Gelasius admitted that George was a respected saint, but his true actions were known only to God. Many stories about him were not fully proven, yet his reputation for holiness and bravery spread quickly. People heard about his strong faith and death across the ancient world. His story reached England by the 8th century, making him an honored saint, especially for soldiers. It is amazing how his story survived. How did an unknown Roman soldier who died long ago become famous everywhere? How did his message become a huge symbol across the world? The story of the monster. The story of St. George and the dragon is very famous, but this part of his legend did not happen in real life. The tale of the dragon came many centuries after George died. It became well known during the Middle Ages, thanks to a popular book called The Golden Legend. This book told stories of saints' lives. The idea for the dragon story also came from old Greek tales, like the one about Perseus saving a princess from a sea monster near Lydda. Early pictures of George fighting a dragon from the 9th century may have just shown good fighting evil. They were simple representations of the battle between light and darkness. The legend tells of a city named Selim in Libya. Near this city there was a big pond where a terrible dragon lived. This beast caused much fear among the people. To make the dragon happy and keep it away, the people of Salem had to give it 2 sheep every day. Over time, the dragon wanted more, so they started to offer 1 sheep and 1 child, chosen by lot, to the dragon. This was a very sad and scary time for the villagers, who lived in constant dread of the monster. One day, it was the king's daughter who was chosen to be given to the dragon. As she walked slowly towards the pond, St. George happened to pass by. He saw the princess and the dragon. George was a brave man. He raised his spear and attacked the beast. He pierced the dragon with his spear. This act was seen as a great victory of good over evil. It became a powerful symbol of faith winning against darkness and danger. During the Crusades, this story became even more important. Soldiers saw George's act as a sign of triumphing over their enemies. They believed the dragon could represent their foes. King Richard I of England, also called the Lionheart, said George was the protector of all soldiers in battle. The story grew into a tale of chivalry and courage, about saving innocent people from bad forces. The dragon in the story can mean many different things to different people. Sometimes it means pure evil, or the devil, or even serious illness. It can also stand for bad political leaders, or the frightening, unknown dangers of the natural world. George's victory over the dragon is a message for everyone. It shows that we can overcome whatever scares us most. It is a story about human courage when facing very big problems and impossible odds. It reminds us that victory is possible, even when things seem hopeless. A new home in England. George was a brave soldier who died for his Christian faith. He lived far away, in a land we now call Palestine. But how did this man, born in Turkey and dying far from England, become so important to England? His story traveled a long way. Early on in the 8th century, his fame reached England. Important English figures like the monk Bede and King Alfred the Great knew about him. The real turning point came with the Crusades. These were big wars many hundreds of years ago in faraway lands. English soldiers went to fight, and they heard many stories about George. Some soldiers even said they saw him fighting bravely beside them on the battlefield. This made his fame grow quickly among the fighting men. Richard I, known as the Lionheart, called George the protector of all soldiers. Back in England, kings started to make George even more special. Before this, saints like Edward the Confessor were more important for England. But in the year 1348, King Edward III chose George to be the patron saint for a new group of special knights called the Order of the Garter. This gave George a very special place as an English symbol. Later, King Henry V made George's name a loud and powerful battle cry.
This happened at a very important fight called the Battle of Agincourt in 1415. Soldiers shouted, "God for Harry, England, and St. George." This shout helped unite the English soldiers and gave them courage. The famous writer Shakespeare later wrote this line, fixing George as a hero in the English mind. Soon, George's red cross was painted proudly on the clothes of English knights. This cross was first the flag of a city called Genoa, but England paid to use it to protect their ships. During the Crusades, English knights wore it as part of their uniform. It became a powerful symbol for the English army and nation. In time, this cross was even combined with Scotland's flag to make the Union Jack. George was now truly locked into English history and identity. But a very big change was coming to the church in England. It was called the Reformation. During this time, many saints' days were removed from the calendar. Would the memory of George, the foreign saint, be wiped out completely by these new changes? His future in England was not yet fully secure, even after so much history. The question hung in the air: would he stay or be forgotten? This period tested how deeply George had become a part of England's soul. His survival depended on his strong ties to the English people. 5. A day of highs and lows. In the 1500s, St. George's Day was very important. It was a national holiday, celebrated like Christmas.
Across England, people held special shows called pageants, big parades, and feasts. People had great fervor for the day. Salisbury, a city, has a pageant that started many centuries ago. This was a golden age for the celebration. But this special time did not last. People's veneration for St. George slowly became less in the 1700s. The Protestant Reformation had already diluted some of its religious meaning. More importantly, England and Scotland joined to become Great Britain in 1707. This created a new country and a new flag called the Union Jack. The St. George's Cross became part of this new flag. A new British identity started to grow, leaving less room for English celebrations. By the end of the 1700s, St. George's Day was not widely celebrated anymore. Other parts of the British Isles kept their special days. Scotland still celebrated St. Andrew's Day, Ireland kept St. Patrick's Day, and Wales had St. David's Day. But England's National Day was slowly forgotten. It was still in church calendars and history books, but it was not a living holiday for most people. Later, in 1894, people tried to bring the day back. The Royal Society of St. George started. Through the 1900s, there were more efforts to make the day important again. However, these attempts did not get much public support. The day felt stuck. It was too religious for some and too nationalistic for others. It did not have enough daily life traditions to keep it strong. In recent years, things have changed more. In 2009, Boris Johnson, who was then the mayor of London, spearheaded a campaign to celebrate the day. The Labour Party also asked for it to be a public holiday in 2017 and 2019. These efforts have led to more celebrations since 2010. Today, the Mayor of London's free festival in Trafalgar Square is very popular. Many people wonder if the English people will ever fully embrace their forgotten festival again. The fight to make it a public holiday continues in politics. Will St. George's Day ever be as big as it once was? 6. How we celebrate today. St. George's Day is not a big public holiday like some others in the world, and many people still do not know much about it. But it is slowly becoming more important for English culture and heritage recognition. In recent years, there has been a grassroots revival of the day across the country. Local groups and councils work hard to make more people aware of April 23rd. They organize inclusive events that celebrate both historical English traditions and the many different cultures of modern England. People celebrate in different ways, some big and some small. Many fly the red and white flag, known as St. George's Cross. You can often see these flags on buildings, especially pubs, showing a quiet pride.
A few people choose to wear a red rose on their lapel. This red rose has a long history as a symbol for England, and wearing it is a simple, quiet gesture of national feeling. Many churches hold special services on the Sunday closest to April 23rd. During these services, they often sing the hymn Jerusalem. This song, with its powerful words, talks about ancient England and its spiritual beauty. It has become so closely linked with English national feeling that some people even suggest it should be England's national anthem. Big official events also happen. For example, the Mayor of London hosts a free festival in Trafalgar Square every year. This family-friendly event is full of live music, dancing, creative workshops, and delicious street food. It brings many people together to enjoy and celebrate English culture in a vibrant way. The Royal Society of St. George, a historic group, also marks the day with its annual formal banquet. At a more informal level, celebrations are often found in local communities. People attend parades where actors dress as St. George and a dragon, happily reenacting their legendary battle. Many pubs and community centers decorate their exteriors with red and white bunting and flags. Morris dancers, with their bells, sticks, and handkerchiefs, perform ancient folk dances in village squares and at festivals, bringing a lively traditional feel. Traditional English food also plays an important part.
Dishes like roast beef, fish and chips, Yorkshire pudding, and shepherd's pie become special when eaten together on this day. A growing informal tradition is slaying your own dragon. This modern idea suggests that St. George's Day is not just about remembering the past. It is also an aspirational reminder to face your own personal challenges or fears. This modern meaning shows how an old myth can still inspire people today, helping them to improve themselves and overcome difficulties. It highlights the myth's ability to change and stay relevant, offering a message of courage for everyone. A saint for the world. St. George is not just a hero for England, he is a global superstar. People in many different countries love and celebrate him. What connects a romantic book festival in Spain to old fire-jumping rituals in the Balkans? It is St. George. More than 10 nations and many cities claim him as their own hero. In Catalonia, Spain, April 23rd is a day called Sant Jordi. It is like Valentine's Day. On this day, boys often give girls a red rose, and girls give boys a book. The streets of cities like Barcelona are full of people buying thousands of books and beautiful flowers. This special Catalan tradition even helped UNESCO start World Book and Copyright Day, celebrated globally on the same date. In Bulgaria, on May 6th, they have a public holiday for St. George. It is one of the most celebrated name days. Families prepare and cook a whole lamb, a practice that is very old. People believe this day can also break bad spells, and he is the patron saint of shepherds there. Ethiopia shows deep veneration for St. George. He is the patron saint of their church and country, playing a big part in their national identity. Stories tell of his miracles, like protecting people from danger or healing the sick. Even a famous football club, St. George Sports Club, and a popular beer brand in Ethiopia carry his name and symbol. Portugal also has a strong link to St. George. His story became important there in the 1200s. He became Portugal's patron saint during King John I's rule. The Portuguese army still uses his name in their motto for times of war and danger. In the Valencian city of Alcoy, Spain, citizens dress in old medieval costumes. They remember how St. George supposedly helped Christian soldiers fight in a city siege, reenacting the battle each year. In the Balkans, St. George's Day marks the very start of spring. People gather fresh flowers at dawn. In some places, they jump over fires, blending old traditions with Christian beliefs. In Lebanon, St. George is the patron saint of Beirut. Many bays along the coast are named after him, like the St. George Bay, where local stories say he killed the dragon. This hero is special because his story is respected by more than one religion. He is mentioned in the Quran, the holy book of Islam. He is also the only Christian saint to have a mosque named after him. This shows how his appeal transcends different faiths and countries. So, when we see how much the whole world loves this one legendary figure, it makes us think. Can England truly say St. George belongs only to them? Or does this brave soldier, who died almost 2,000 years ago, really belong to everyone? 8. The meaning of the flag. The flag of St. George, England's national symbol, has faced challenges. Sometimes groups with very extreme political ideas use this flag. This can make people, especially from diverse backgrounds, hesitant to embrace it, worrying about what it might represent. Many English people, however, hold a more open view of their national identity. They often link England with everyday things like waiting in lines, enjoying the pub, and important services like the National Health Service. Discussions in Parliament also suggest English identity is inclusive, welcoming everyone, and built on shared experiences. There is a persistent campaign to make St. George's Day, April 23rd, a public holiday. Unlike Ireland, Scotland, and Wales, which celebrate their patron saints with a day off, England does not have an equivalent. Supporters believe a bank holiday could be a great chance for all people in England, no matter their background, to celebrate shared values like courage, kindness, and honor. A fascinating irony lies in St. George himself. He was not born in England. From a Greek family, born in what is now Turkey and dying in what is now Israel, he never visited the country that calls him its patron saint. In this way, St. George can be seen as the world's most successful immigrant, adopted and cherished by England.
This shows how English identity is not fixed, but a rich mix shaped by history and global connections. All national identities are like stories we tell ourselves, not always strict facts, but good ideas and aspirations we want to live by. St. George stands for bravery in hard times, sticking to your beliefs, and helping others. His story, including the dragon, reminds us that problems can be overcome. Each generation can see its own dragon, a fear, an illness, or a big challenge, and find hope in his victory. On April 23rd, St. George is celebrated globally. In Barcelona, people exchange books and roses. In Ethiopia, football teams bear his name. UNESCO also marks this day as World Book and Copyright Day. It brings together parts of history, from old myths to modern literature, highlighting universal values like courage and protection. For England, St. George's Day asks, what does it truly mean to be English today? The answer is likely complex and multi-layered, not in a single symbol. But stopping to think about identity, history, and shared values is important. English identity is often seen as a mix of traditions, tolerance, and humor.
This day, with its unresolved debates and widely traveled patron saint, perfectly reflects that. The dragon in the story was defeated, yet the questions it stands for, about who we are, what we owe each other, and the stories we choose to live by, always return every spring, asking us to think again. What does the flag of St. George mean to you?
Hey there! Just a second before you go. If you learned something new today, please give this video a like, write your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the channel. It only takes a second, and it really, really helps to create even better English videos for you. Your support means the world. Thank you.